What an absolutely beautiful morning. We were fortunate enough to come across some mountain ash trees that we were able to salvage from a site that was being cleared. So we dug as carefully as we could, and at the moment they do not look good, but we've done the best we can. Keep them watered, and hopefully we may be able to salvage them. It's about the first week of August, so the berries were still on all these trees when we moved them. These are some kind of mountain ash or American ash, we're not sure which. The site they were on was being cleared for development, so we went in there with a backhoe, and it took a track hoe in this case to get this one out. Brought them home, and it was very late at night. It was dark when we finished planting these. And they look pretty sad at the moment, but hey, better than the alternative. We keep the trees protected with these steel T-bar posts because the horses like to walk over the little trees so that the brushes scrape the mosquitoes and flies away from them. And it won't take many days before the tree will be totally destroyed. This was another mountain ash that we salvaged about 3 or 4 years ago, and it looked the same. It had broken branches, and it just looked like it wasn't going to survive. But we threw it in the ground, gave it lots of water, kept a fence up around it, and it's doing well. I got my little tree planting helper out here. Hey, Dibs. Oh yeah. Just give me a cuddle, Dad. Just give me a cuddle. Just come out to the garden here. We've had such strong winds and rains this past few days. The peas were really taking a beating here. Sylv came out this morning and re-wove them back into the weld mesh. But my goodness, what a summer it has been for rain. My goodness. 1 minute a drought, the next minute monsoons. The beets, carrots and onions are doing quite well. But there wasn't a lettuce came up, not one. I think Sylv found one somewhere else. The carrots here, Sylv's got a second planting going. A little bit of glass there. They took a hammering with the rain. We got an inch this week. And the second crop of onions. So needless to say, the watering has not been high on the agenda. goodness, look at the ladybugs we've got in here. These beans are doing quite well. My goodness, I hope that's not going to be a problem. Now you have to get out the soap and water. Looks like they have been having a feast here. Oh well, I guess it's all part of the circle. And here in front of us is one of our ponds, and it shows how much through the summer the water has dropped. Still plenty of wildlife here. The geese have gone, but the ducks are here, and the coots. So what we're looking at here is our array. I built this, my goodness, must be close to 20 years ago. And we're also showing the 2 panels that we have attached to the front of the porch over the cabin here. Now if we get a little closer, you can see how much shadow there is over those panels. The top quarter of a panel is covered, so they're actually producing very, very little electricity. And that's why I came back and got the array going again. When I built this, I angled it. And this angle, although it's actually pretty steep, we calculated is going to give us the best average over the 12 months for the pitch of the sun. Because in the winter months here, obviously the sun is so low that, well, actually it's hardly worth rotating the panels. So we leave them facing south, and this angle was calculated to give us the best of both worlds. So if we go round the back here, now then, up there you can see on top of the pole what I actually used was an implement hub. I think it was off a Massey Ferguson baler, and that is what the wheel was bolted to. So I stood it upright and welded it to a flat plate on the pole, and then just put a piece of I-beam, and then built my frame to carry the panels on top of that. Now I also have a control arm off a satellite dish. The motor is actually missing. The motor got some water into it, so I've removed the motor from this one, and we're just holding it with a ratchet strap, and we rotate the panels every day. I'm trying to find another one that will do the job. So we have about ballpark 600 watts of panels up there, and producing everything we need. You could always use more, but on clear sunny days such as today, it's plenty. We can keep our batteries up, and it works well. Now then, this panel up on the top corner here, it has a slightly different appearance, because up there you can see where it got hit, and it was actually damaged in transit when we were moving, and it shattered the glass, in the front, and I thought, well, that's it, that panel's screwed, but actually it's still producing. Somewhat reduced output, but it is still producing. So we've left it in the system, and we'll just keep it running until it does quit. So the array feeds through this flex cable attached to the framework here, then picks up these two panels, and then from there ties into this single little panel that is fixed to the framework and facing east, and then feeds in to our charge controller. So there we are, we've got 20 amps coming in nicely. On the hottest, clearest days we might get 24, 25 amps. But typically if we can aim for 20 amps, it keeps things in good shape. A friend of mine at work gave me this sign, so thanks very much, Chris. It has been put up, and my wife has taken due note.
I'm writing.
Okay.
Hi everyone. I'm busy. Drinking tea.
More tea.
Yeah.
Right on. We're looking out the window today, plus 20 degrees, which is a heck of a sight better than the minus 20 we usually show you. Thermometer in the house is showing 74 Fahrenheit. And we got the cook stove cranked right up as hard as she'll go. So Sylv's boiling her beetroots, so we fired this stove up. But in general, through the summer months, we leave this stove cold. And this is what we use. Just our little Coleman propane camping stove. Pop it on the camping table. There's the burner on this side for cooking the stove. There's a grill over here. And it's super, super good. Cheap and cheerful. Now those of you who followed our channel a little bit will remember when we were down in the States, where were we? Searchlight, Nevada, at a gas station there. An unfortunate little incident where a motorhome backed into our trusty old Buick. And he stoved in the hood and buckled the fender and did some damage. Got the insurance sorted out. So the old Buick is going in. We found another hood, and actually it's the right color. It's actually off a Chevy, but the body styles were the same between the Chevs and the Buicks, so it's going to go in this coming week, we hope, and we'll get our trusty Buick done, fixed, and some renovations done. As you can see, the clear coat on the paint has given up long ago, and she is really starting to get pretty tatty. 550,853 kilometers. And you know, this old car has done amazingly well. We have changed the front seats in it. Picked those up in Arizona. It's amazing, you know, this old car, and it's, well, I suppose it is old now. We paid $250 for it, and we've driven it to Arizona twice now and back down to Yuma, so basically to Mexico. We go right to the Algodones crossing into Mexico, and we get more compliments and more admiration of this car. It is incredible, you know, and we have had all kinds of very luxurious cars in our time. We've been very fortunate in life, and yet this old woody wagon gets more attention, if you will. It's amazing. I started collecting woody wagons, my goodness, about 10 years ago. This is one of the last Impala woody wagons. It's in pretty decent shape. So that is another little restoration project in the making. But out of the bunch of them, this is my favorite. Being somewhat of a Ford man, I think this is about a 76 or 77 Mercury Grand Marquis woody wagon, 460, full leather interior, just a beautiful wagon. And this is one of the last ones I saw on the market that, you know, going for a reasonable price. They've now gone absolutely insane. In many ways I lament the passing of these dinosaurs, really. They had such beautiful names. The Roadmaster, the Custom Cruiser, the Grand Marquis. How times change.